Who's next on the list? I think it is the esteemed Tim Finnegan, everyone! Make some noise for him! Okay.
What up, people? How y'all doing tonight? All right, well, that's what I like to hear. Well, my name's Tim Finnegan, and as we're in the theme tonight about former comedians who have recently moved away, I'd like to give a shout out to my friend Brooke Whitehead. He's a fucking hilarious dude, and I remember one of the first times I performed here at the Rigby Pub and Grill. He was one of the first hosts I met, and I remember one time he did something hilarious where he mispronounced my last name. He's like, "Give it up for Tim Flanagan, everyone." I'm like, no, my fucking name's Tim Finnegan. So anyway, so now I'd like to get into my skit tonight. So I'd like to tell you guys a story now about a time that I was working with Peter Griffin, and we were running for school board president. Peter Griffin was running for school board president, and I was going to be his vice president. So what happened was Peter had a teacher named Mr. Fargus, and Mr. Fargus actually used to be one of my coworkers when I used to work at the movie theater. He had that job and worked in schools, and so when I was running with Peter Griffin for president, we were trying to give him his job back. So what happened was we found out in the news that Mr. Fargus got fired for no good reason. I'm like, what the fuck? Why did Mr. Fargus get fucking fired? And I think the reason for that was he just first he got fired from the movie theater job because he was accused of letting someone underage into an R-rated movie when he didn't do that, and he was accused of something at the school that he didn't do. And I think what he did was he just did something. He was doing a fun project in science class, but people had complaints about it. But he did what he wanted to do, and I thought he did the right thing. But I didn't like that he got fired. I'm like, what? They can't do that. So at the time, I was dating someone named Lois Watson, and I was like, Lois, if you're running for school board president with Lois Griffin, you should give Mr. Fargus his job back. And Lois was like, no, I'm not giving that son of a bitch his job back. He deserved to get fired. I'm like, no, I disagree about that. He shouldn't have been fired. So I was talking to Peter, and he said his wife Lois said the same thing. Peter was like, yeah, they can't do that. He shouldn't be fired for that kind of reason. So when we found out that Lois and Lois were running for president, and my ex-girlfriend Lois Watson was going to be Lois's vice president, Peter and I, decided to, do the same thing and run against, his wife and my ex-girlfriend at the time. So we had a debate going on, and Lois was like, wow, since when did you decide to run for president? I'm like, we want to give that teacher his job back. So we ran for president, and we had a debate going on, and Lois started talking and said what she promised to do as a school board president, and then Peter and I both were like, hey, shut up, we want to talk about what we want to do. So we said what we wanted to do, and we explained what we promised to do as the school board president and vice president, and then after that debate, Peter and I ended up getting elected as the president and vice president of the school board. So once we were elected, we had the power to give Mr. Fargus his job back, and we welcomed him back, and we were welcoming students and everything. But that just got my ex-girlfriend Lois and I in an argument. So Lois and I argued a lot. There was a lot of shit going on, and I'm like, I'm done with this shit because we both disagree about too much shit. She's just not for me, so we broke up. But Peter and Lois, they got in some arguments. They worked things out, but I'm like, I need to leave this bitch. I need to move on with my life. But Peter and I continued to run for, enjoy our term as the president and vice president, and everything worked out perfectly, and we got the students jobs, and we got the students to do what they wanted to do. So that's my story about how Peter and I did the right thing by doing what we wanted to do with our lives. So that's my time. Thank you for watching. We got that one tonight. Thank you.
For Tim Flanagan, everyone. Yeah, we just got an enormous amount of information about your high school drama. Thank you for that.